It was Hypocrisy Teigen. Hypocrisy Teigen. It was just so hypocritical.
I think Bella's great. Where were you on Chrissy Teigen? Because she was actually, if you think Kanye posting a picture of this woman and saying that she dresses bad, where were you on Chrissy Teigen?
Public place, you did it. Is this the best or the worst?
Think before I tweet. I don't want to offend people just for a joke.
She has sent me so many different tweets, private DMs.
Twitter used to be the wild, wild west.
Ever notice how Hollywood treats bullying differently depending on who does it? When it's someone they like, it's just jokes. When it's someone they hate, it's problematic. Well, Chrissy Teigen just proved that double standard exists. Today we're exposing the selective outrage of Hollywood elites, how they defended Teigen until they couldn't anymore, and why it took losing millions before anyone admitted there was a problem. Remember when magazines couldn't get enough of Chrissy Teigen? Every headline called her Twitter's queen of clapbacks and the most relatable celebrity. Time magazine even named her to their 25 most influential people on the internet list. The media loved portraying her as this brave voice speaking truth to power, especially when she went after Donald Trump. But here's what they conveniently ignored. Teigen wasn't just taking shots at powerful politicians. She built her entire brand by brutally attacking regular people, especially young women and teenagers. While she was preaching about kindness and inclusion on talk shows, she was sending DMs telling a 16-year-old Courtney Stodden to kill themselves.
Harassment and bullying from her when I was just 16 years old.
And that wasn't a one-time thing. A pattern emerged of Teigen specifically targeting vulnerable people. She mocked Lindsay Lohan's self-harm struggles, writing, "Lindsay adds a few more slits to her wrists when she sees Emma Stone." She told Sarah Palin to shoot herself in the face. When someone questioned her parenting choices, she responded by making fun of their fertility struggles. The real kicker? While she was doing all this, she positioned herself as this champion against online harassment. She gave speeches about cyberbullying. She talked about how toxic Twitter could be. Meanwhile, she had thousands of tweets attacking people for their appearance, their mental health, their personal struggles.
It was Hypocrisy Teigen. Hypocrisy Teigen. It was just so hypocritical.
But Hollywood just laughed it off. Jimmy Fallon had her on to read her funniest tweets. Ellen praised her brutal honesty. Every late-night host treated her mean tweets like they were just hilarious jokes from America's favorite relatable mom. That's until Courtney Stodden spoke up. They shared screenshots of Teigen's messages telling them to die. Suddenly, those funny tweets didn't seem so funny anymore. More victims started coming forward. People started digging through Teigen's old posts, finding tweet after tweet of her telling people to harm themselves or die. The same celebrities who laughed at her savage takedowns suddenly got real quiet, because how do you defend telling teenagers to kill themselves? How do you spin that as speaking truth to power when your target is a child? But you know what finally made Hollywood turn on their Twitter queen? When those screenshots started hitting their bottom line.
Snapped back. You could test us by announcing your retirement. And Chrissy joined in. From what? Trolling isn't a job. I've tried.
Turns out brands don't want to partner with someone exposed for cyberbullying kids. And that's where our story gets really interesting. While Hollywood celebrities could look the other way at bullying, major retailers like Target and Macy's had a different calculation to make. Would middle America still want to buy cookware from someone who told teenagers to die? The numbers tell a brutal story of just how fast America's most relatable celebrity became retail poison. As screenshots of Teigen's cruel messages spread across social media, her carefully built empire started cracking. Target was the first to pull her Cravings cookware line from their shelves. Macy's quickly followed, yanking her products from their website without even making an announcement. One by one, the partnership she'd spent years building disappeared overnight. Teigen tried damage control, posting long apologies on Medium and Instagram. She reached out to her former victims, claiming she wanted to make amends. But Courtney Stodden called out these attempts as insincere.
Chrissy Teigen leave Twitter over negativity and bullying.
Saying Teigen was only sorry because she was losing money. The public agreed. Her social media engagement numbers plummeted as followers saw through the calculated attempt to save her brand deals. The financial bleeding didn't stop there. Netflix dropped her from a voice acting role in Never Have I Ever. More retail partners quietly distanced themselves, not wanting the toxic association. Her cookware website, once a powerhouse of direct-to-consumer sales, saw traffic drop dramatically as customers voted with their wallets. Even even her massive social media following couldn't save her. The same platforms where she built her influence turned against her. Each new apology post got ratioed with comments bringing up more old tweets. Her engagement numbers kept falling as former fans realized their relatable queen had a long history of targeting vulnerable people. Teigen's public appearances became rare. No more late-night show invites. No more magazine covers calling her Twitter's queen. The same media outlets that once celebrated her brutal honesty now wrote think pieces about cyberbullying and accountability. Hollywood's selective outrage finally caught up with their favorite mean girl. But this isn't just about one celebrity losing some brand deals. It exposed how quickly Hollywood's stance on bullying changes when there's money involved. The same behavior they laughed at on talk shows became problematic the moment retailers started pulling products. And that brings us to what happened next, when Teigen realized those old tweets weren't going away on their own. Here's the thing about mean tweets. They leave scars that screenshots preserve forever. When Teigen hit delete on 60,000 posts in one day, she didn't just raise eyebrows, she confirmed what her victims had been saying all along. As more people started coming forward with their stories, Teigen's past caught up with her fast. Designer Michael Costello revealed she didn't just publicly attack him. She sent private messages threatening his entire career, telling him, "Your career is over, just watch." Courtney Stodden exposed even darker messages, sharing how Teigen would privately DM them saying things like, "I can't wait for you to die."
Think before I tweet. I don't want to offend people just for a joke.
She has sent me so many different tweets, private DMs.
Twitter used to be the wild, wild west.
Teigen's response? A massive deletion spree, wiping nearly 60,000 tweets from her account overnight. But trying to scrub your digital footprint clean only works if nobody saved receipts. And oh boy, did people have receipts. Screenshots started flooding social media, exposing years of calculated cruelty that went way beyond just clapbacks. The same celebrities who defended her savage humor suddenly couldn't ignore the evidence. It's one thing to excuse a few mean tweets as jokes. It's another when thousands of deleted posts show a clear pattern of targeting vulnerable people, especially young women and teenagers struggling with mental health. Conservative commentator Candace Owens even called for a documentary titled Surviving Chrissy Teigen to expose the full scope of her behavior.
I think Bella's great. Where were you on Chrissy Teigen? Because she was actually, if you think Kanye posting a picture of this woman and saying that she dresses bad, where were you on Chrissy Teigen?
Pressure got so intense that Teigen finally admitted what everyone could see in those archived tweets. She was, in her own words, a troll, full stop. She called her past tweets awful, and acknowledged her targets didn't deserve her meanness. But here's what's interesting about Hollywood's response. They didn't turn on Teigen because she was cruel. They turned on her because she got caught being cruel to the wrong people. When she was attacking politicians or celebrities they didn't like, it was brave. When screenshots showed her telling struggling teenagers to harm themselves,
she was celebrated by the media for years, and I used my platform to expose how she was telling teenagers to
suddenly that same behavior became unforgivable. And while Teigen tried playing the redemption card, admitting she was awful and apologizing, those 60,000 deleted tweets told a different story. They showed someone desperately trying to hide evidence rather than actually change. The internet never forgets, and neither did all those people she hurt along the way. As her carefully crafted image crumbled, Hollywood's elite started treating their former queen very differently.
I just couldn't believe how hypocritical.
Funny how quickly Hollywood's power players can switch sides, isn't it? When A-list events started quietly removing Teigen from their guest lists, it exposed something much bigger than just another canceled celebrity. It revealed the entertainment industry's dirty little secret about who they choose to protect. Look at how differently Hollywood treats its fallen stars. Some celebrities bounce back from major scandals within months, while others get permanently blacklisted for far less. The difference? It's not about what they did, it's about who they are and who they know. Teigen learned this lesson the hard way when her progressive ally card couldn't save her from her own documented behavior. The same celebrities who once rushed to defend her witty comebacks suddenly had amnesia when confronted with evidence of her bullying. Red carpet events that used to feature her prominently started leaving her name off guest lists. Award shows that previously celebrated her authentic voice decided maybe authenticity wasn't so important after all. The message was clear. Hollywood would protect its own, but only if protecting them didn't hurt the bottom line.
Public place, you did it. Is this the best or the worst?
Candace Owens called it perfectly when she labeled Teigen a media-sanctioned predator. For years, Teigen's alignment with progressive values gave her a free pass to target anyone she wanted. The entertainment industry looked the other way because she was attacking the right people. But once those screenshots showed her going after vulnerable teenagers and struggling young women, that protection vanished overnight. Even John Legend's reputation took a hit. His public defense of Teigen raised uncomfortable questions about complicity. How long had he known about her behavior? Why defend someone sending death wishes to teenagers? The power couple that once dominated every Hollywood event found themselves increasingly isolated as former friends calculated the cost of loyalty. Media coverage shifted dramatically too. Gone were the glowing profiles about her brave social media presence. Instead, think pieces appeared questioning Hollywood's selective application of cancel culture. Publications that once praised her brutal honesty now used her as a case study in cyberbullying and accountability. The hypocrisy became impossible to ignore. Hollywood's elite had laughed along with Teigen's cruelty until the evidence became too overwhelming to dismiss. Their sudden moral awakening wasn't about standing up to bullying, it was about protecting their own reputations once the tide of public opinion turned. And as Teigen's carefully built empire crumbled, it exposed an uncomfortable truth about an industry that preaches accountability but practices selective outrage. Let's be real, Chrissy Teigen became exactly what she claimed to fight against. She preached kindness while sending cruel messages, talked about stopping harassment while targeting vulnerable people, and positioned herself as a champion of mental health while telling teenagers to harm themselves. These days, Teigen's pretty quiet on social media. Her cookware collects dust on warehouse shelves instead of flying off store shelves. Those A-list parties she used to dominate, she's lucky if she gets an invite. The whole thing showed us something important about Hollywood. They'll defend awful behavior right up until it starts costing them money. Teigen's downfall changed how celebrities use social media too. They watched her lose everything over old tweets and realized those savage takedowns aren't worth the risk anymore. Turns out karma doesn't care how many followers you have.